Hey everyone, Rob Warnock here from the Apartment List research team. Excited to share with you a new data tool that we've put together. As you may know, our team produces a lot of public facing data on the rental market. We update it monthly, we put it on our website for download, and we've been doing that for over 5 years now. So, with a fairly large repository of stats on hand, we thought it'd be nice to put something together that offers a bigger picture, longer term view of the rental market. Because within the past 5 years, what was once a relatively stable market has seen some pretty extreme changes. So what we came up with was this: a chart summarizing rent changes. And obviously it contains a lot of information, but hopefully is presented in a way that allows us to identify trends both long-term and short-term, as well as trends at both the macro level and the local level. So in this chart, there's 100 rows. This represents the 100 largest cities in the nation, and those are sorted by population. So at the top is New York City, second is LA, third is Chicago, and so on. And then from left to right, there's 60 columns. Each one of those represents a month from January 2017 through December 2022. And so that means that each individual cell represents a given city in a given month. And the color of that cell signals rent growth. So blue means that rents went down, red means that rents went up. If we move through this chart chronologically, the first thing that jumps out are these alternating vertical bands of blue and red. This is seasonality. Typically, rents will go up during the spring and the summer, and then they come down a little bit during the winter. This is the normal state of the market, if you will. But in 2020, that seasonal pattern breaks. The market started to heat up in the first quarter, as it normally does, but that was interrupted by the pandemic. And we see this on the chart. There's a vertical band of light blue at a time of the year where we're used to seeing red. This is Q2. This is when shelter in place was a nationwide policy and when people weren't moving much. The national median rent fell 2% during this quarter, when historically it goes up about 3%. So, in terms of rent growth, this was really a 180 for the rental market. Now, the second half of the year produced something even more unexpected. You'll notice in the chart, one thing that stands out are these dark horizontal bands of blue. And they don't really show up at any other point. These are your dense, urban, expensive cities that saw rent prices really crater in 2020. And a few of them are highlighted here, like New York, where rents fell 15% in the last 6 months of the year. The steepest decline was in San Francisco, where they fell 23%. But it even affected some of the smaller nearby cities like Jersey City, which is just outside of New York, or Arlington, which is just outside of DC. Meanwhile, in some of the nation's cheaper and more suburban cities, rents rebounded quickly and then started to accelerate. Arizona, Nevada, inland California, they really stand out at this point. This was the part of the country that was first hit by rent inflation. In this way, 2020 was a year where rent prices converged. Expensive cities got cheaper, cheaper cities got more expensive. But in 2021, everywhere got more expensive. And that's regardless of geography or density or population or whatever. As you can see, price increases were significantly greater than what we were used to. The national median rent went up 18% in 2021, when normally it's up 3, 4, 5% in any given year. And some specific parts of the country saw 20, 30, even 40% rent growth. And hopefully this chart really puts into perspective what happened that year and the financial strain that fell upon renters who were signing new leases in 2021. Rent growth picked back up in 2022, but by the middle of that year, the economy was under a lot of strain. Inflation was really high, in large part because of the rent growth that we just talked about 1 year prior. And the Fed intervened by hiking interest rates, which decelerated the housing market. We see this on the very right side of our chart, that vertical band of relatively dark blue. In fact, October, November, and December of last year provided the steepest month-over-month rent declines that our team has ever measured, which is certainly a welcome relief. But it's important to keep in mind that this does pretty little to reverse the unrelenting rent growth that took place during the 18 months prior. Just to quickly put that in perspective, this is the national median rent plotted over the same 5-year period. And you can see that despite recent rent drops, the rental market is substantially more expensive today than it was pre-pandemic. So I hope you enjoyed the new infographic. It's up on our website for you to check out. It has some additional commentary from our team, and it's interactive so you can zoom in on a specific city or a specific time period if that's interesting to you. So please take a look, let us know what you think. Send us a note if there's anything you'd like to share. We're at research@apartmentlist.com. Thank you.